Welcome back to Chapter 7, Surgical Steel. Own the weight of leadership. It's been a while since I posted anything, and part of that is because this chapter really tested me to my core. Owning the weight of leadership. It's real. Because you'll never lead anything that you won't first take the full responsibility for. If the ship sinks, it doesn't matter who drilled the hole. You're still the captain. The more you carry with character, the freer you become. Everybody wants to be an influencer or influence people until it's time to take the hit for someone else's mistake. You want to lead? You better get ready to be blamed for things that you didn't do. And then accept responsibility when things go wrong. Part of my break was I was very busy. Going to school, working, raising my children, doing the things that I had been preaching about doing, living my life with the Surgical Steel operating system. But it became to just be going through the motions. There was no passion. There was no power behind it. It was just checking boxes. So I had to reevaluate, resharpen myself to get back into the grind, get back to see my why, and then it all clicked and it all made sense. We'll start off with each one should carry their own load, Galatians 6:5. And one of my favorite guys that talks about getting things done the right way, responsibility equals freedom, from Jocko Willink. Back when I was in the military, we were in a critical season. We were getting geared up for deployment, churning out qualifications, prepping battle-ready pilots. Our unit was locked in. We were a high-performing machine, smooth and synced. Our numbers, top tier. Our morale, through the roof. We were on fire, and I was proud, not of me, but of us. The junior sailors, the trainers, the ones doing the quiet work behind the curtain. I handed out every bit of credit I could. The success belonged to the team. But then a new officer rotated in. Bright, ambitious, fresh out of school and ready to leave his mark. And he wanted change. He wanted an award. He wanted a promotion. Not because we were failing, because he needed to make his mark. He rewrote procedures, changed how we certified readiness, tweaked systems that had made us exceptional, and he pulled and squeezed on things that we used for morale boosting events. I pushed back. I was respectful, but I made it clear. This isn't the time to experiment. Our system works. Our training syllabus is state of the art. It's the fastest, quickest, most accurate way to get someone qualified. But he was the authority. And in the military, chain of command, it isn't optional. So I saluted, got my team in line, and we executed. Then it failed, and failed. Changes created confusion. Our metrics dropped. Readiness suffered. And when it came time for inspection, guess who stood in the room? Not him, but me. They were my troops. They were my guys. Because I was the one in charge of implementation. I didn't build the plan, but I had to carry it out, and it carried consequences, and I was willing them to carry them too. I shielded my team, I stood in the fire, and I took the hit. Not because I agreed, but because that's what leaders do. You don't just carry the victories, you carry the weight, especially when it's heavy. Here's a myth a lot of guys buy into. It's not my fault, not my problem. Wrong. If you're leading, everything is your problem. And guess what, men? We're the leaders of the home. Yes, we lead with our wives, but biblically, we are the leaders of the home. Leadership means taking responsibility for the outcome when the input wasn't your call. It means stepping between your team and the fallout. It means They're still learning. Put it on me, though. It means being last in line for credit and first in line when it hits the fan. That's not weakness. That's ownership. Jocko Willink calls it extreme ownership, and he's right. Great leaders own everything in their world, but I want to push this deeper. What am I talking about? It's not just owning the battlefield. It's owning the backfire, owning the prep, the build-up, and every step through it. It's honoring authority even when you disagree, and standing tall when the plan doesn't work. Because in leadership, obedience doesn't absolve responsibility. Submission doesn't cancel ownership. Nick Saban once said mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. He built Alabama's dynasty on the process. That means doing the right thing the right way every time. He said discipline is doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to be done every time. That's a process. That's a repeatable way for success. That's setting the stage for future generations to follow through in success. Men, fathers, that's what we're supposed to do with our kids. We're supposed to embody and show a repeatable process of success. How to do it, where to go, what to do. That's ownership. Navy SEAL Commander Mark Devine says, the real wolf is internal. It's fear, ego, pride, and avoidance of pain. In Staring Down the Wolf, he talks about leading from the inside out. Not managing tasks, but mastering yourself. Ownership means confronting the wolf, not running from it. It means leading with your whole self, not just your rank, your title, or your voice. That's how elite teams are built, not on comfort, but on character. Not on what you can say, it's what you do, what you model, what you embody. Let's talk about Jesus. He took responsibility for something he didn't even cause. No one takes my life from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. John 10:18. He wasn't guilty. He didn't mess up, but he stepped in, took the hit, carried the cross, and he owned it for us. That's the blueprint. Jesus shows us that true freedom only comes through responsibility. He didn't fight for comfort. He submitted to the Father's will. And through that submission, he fulfilled his purpose. Let's bring this home. If you're a dad, you're not just raising kids. You're raising the world changers. You're raising the people that are going to come up with cures for diseases, that are going to fix the problems in the economy. That could be political leaders. That could save somebody's lives. You're building futures. If you're a coach, you're not just running plays. You're teaching accountability. You're teaching discipline. You're teaching that fruits of labor bring rewards. You're shaping identity. You're a man of God. You don't just sit back and hope it works out. You pray. You fast. You seek the Lord. And you lead, and you carry, and you own. John Tyson said, the culture will discipline your kids if you don't. And I believe that with everything in me, that if you're not daily checking in with your kids on, hey, what have you seen on social media, or what are you looking at? What are you doing? What have you heard? How was school? How was the walk? How was the bus ride home? What's the funniest thing you heard today? Just daily checking in with your kids, then somebody's checking in with them and checking them out getting inside of them, changing them, programming them in a way that you may not want. If you don't take the reins, TikTok will, Instagram will, some agenda online will. We can't control everything, but we can own what's ours to carry. So what's in it for you? You may not be in the military, you may not be a coach, you might not be on a team, but if you're a man, if you want to be a man of strength, this applies. Audit your blame reflex. Where are you shifting responsibility? Call it out. All those times maybe that you got passed up on a promotion and you blamed your boss or you blamed somebody else. Could it be that you're late 3 times a week? Could it be that you haven't produced the metrics they've asked you to? Could it be that you're not responsible? You're not mature? Those office jokes, they've gotten around. People have heard. Number 2, lead up and down the chain of command. You may not have control, but you have influence. Use it. When your boss filters something down for you to do, with respect and honor, voice your opinion, and then carry it out to the best of your ability. And when you're briefing your team, do it with humility. Do it with empathy, because some changes may affect them greater than it'll affect you. Number 3, let your yes mean something. Follow through every time that you say yes or don't say yes at all. Let it be known that when you say yes, it's going to be done. That people know when he says yes, it means yes. And when he says no, it means no. Let's be men of our word. Let's be men of integrity. Let's be men of honor. Number 4, take the hit when needed. Own it publicly, coach privately, build trust. When mistakes happen, step in front of your team and say, hey, it's me, it's on me. And then take the time behind closed doors to reprimand or coach or build or change or say something. But the worst thing that you can do is blame somebody if it's not totally their fault and then berate them in front of their peers. That's not a way to build trust. That's a way to lose trust and get people to follow you. Number 5, stare down your wolf. What fear are you avoiding? What pride needs to die? How many times have you thought about building a business or about doing something? How many times have you thought, I don't need help, I can do it on my own? The combination of fear and pride keep men stuck in the same spot and the same cycle of just getting up, going to work, doing the bare minimum, putting the kids to bed, drinking, smoking, doing whatever to relieve themselves, and then repeating. And then complaining the whole time of why their life is this way, why they can't get out of this rut that they're in. But listen, you can either carry the weight like a warrior or you can drag it behind you like a burden. One man builds, the other one breaks them. When the mission is successful, it's a team victory. When it falls and fails, it's on you. Remember, it's not punishment, that's purpose. That's what a leader does. Because every time you choose to carry the weight with faith, discipline, and character, you don't just build others, you build yourself. Own the weight. Walk in freedom. Be still. And let's go to work, men.